I don't know. And the broadcast is live already. It's live.
Okay, great. Uh, Good evening, everyone. Today we are going to have a discussion on the road to a lasting peace. And here we have a few ambassadors with us, whom I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart to be taking out time and coming here to share your, beautiful knowledge and thoughts with us today. So we have with us Dr. Aruna Watkar, Shweta Singh, Dr. Richard Shukla, Vanessa D Cruz, and Rashmi Saha. So before we start with the discussion, I would like to call upon Dr. Richard Shukla to give a brief introduction about herself. Over to you, Dr. Richard Shukla.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you so much for having me here on this panel discussion. I am Dr. Richard Shukla. I am practicing astrology for last 19 years. So that is why I am here as an occult ambassador. And I feel that, I am trying to teach everyone that what is the karmic path for you and how you can rectify it and make your life simpler. So I am already telling people what could be the way towards peace and happiness. So this is what is my motto, and I think I am doing my job with a lot of passion and dedication. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richard Shukla. Over to you, Shweta Singh. We would love to know about you.
Thank you, Rima. Hello and namaste to all of you. And I'm very gratified to be here. It is such an honor for me to be as a brand ambassador for Women Connected Profession and Lifestyle. And today the topic is surely so prevalent to discuss. Just a brief introduction about myself. I'm born and raised in the metropolis of Mumbai. However, my roots belong to the spiritual capital of India, which is a small village near Varanasi. So growing in a rural part of village, I've seen the hardships of life. And so as a proud Indian, my team and I, with endless work, hard work and zeal, we have curated Navami, which is the National Ambassador for Villages and Aspiration for Mission India. This is an initiative to work as a bridge between rural India and the wider world for the advancement and to realize the physical and intellectual potential of our people in villages and create job opportunities for them. I'm also the founder of Majestic by Shweta Singh. And this is just a small, brief lifestyle, life history about myself. And I'm looking forward to hear from you guys as well. Thank you.
Rima, you need to unmute yourself.
Thank you so much, Shweta Singh, for your introduction. Now I would like to call upon Rashmi Saha to give her introduction. So over to you, Rashmi.
Thank you so much, Rima, and thank you so much, GWC, for having me here. And unto me, as one of the peace ambassadors, I am life transformation coach Rashmi Saha, and also founder Mukti Mission. It's an organization working on awareness of menstrual hygiene and mental health. I have been working extensively amongst youth and women, and I've been talking about the lifestyle changes, the mental health issues, emotional health issues. And when we talk about peace, I think I've been trying to create a balance between the inner peace that people must have and how it can reflect in our society, and we can actually work towards creating peace amongst ourselves and in the society as well. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation and sharing my experiences, learning and learn from all of you. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rashmi. We are looking forward to hearing your immense knowledge and your, experience that you have gained over the years. And now over to Miss Vanessa D Cruz. Vanessa, can we hear you, please? For some reason, I don't know, Vanessa is not able to come online. So we would go over to Dr. Aruna Wadkar. Welcome, ma'am. Can we have an introduction about you? Dr. Aruna Wadkar, over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, and it's a pleasure amidst the eminent personalities here, each one excelling in their own field. And I'm Dr. Aruna, coming from an army background as an educationist, and at the same time as an education ambassador at Women Trainer Click. Here, I would love to share my views, and I am also the founder and director for Harvest Educational Transformation Solutions, which we cater teacher trainings, student workshops, and assessments and evaluation for the teachers and students too. And also have launched a Heads Foundation, where we are into social work with the needy that was required during the pandemic. So this is the short intro about me, and yes, would love to go ahead with the conversation and like to share the experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Now over to Vanessa D Cruz. Can we have your introduction, please? Kindly unmute yourself.
Hi, good evening to you all. I do apologize for the slight technical difficulties just now. So anyway, I'm Vanessa and I'm from Singapore. I'm a trans woman and I'm an advocate for the LGBT community in Singapore itself. I'm also a motivational speaker and writer, and I do women empowerment work. I organize activities for women to come and learn how to empower themselves. So basically, I've written about 90 over women empowerment topics, which right now I'm actually posting on Facebook, and soon I will publish my book. And I'm also helping society to understand the LGBT community so that we can live in peace and harmony. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now, I would like to introduce myself. I'm the moderator for today. I would like to thank Global Women Premier Click for inviting me over on this platform to be a moderator for you all. And I'm Rima Kohli. I'm a motivational speaker, a soft skills trainer, an NLP coach, and a relationship practitioner for the past 15 years. Earlier, I had an institute of my own by the name of Prime Educations, which was dealing in personality development and foreign languages. It was there for about 7-8 years. And after that, I started freelancing in hospitals, schools, colleges, and even corporate houses. So this is like, my professional background as it goes. But on a passion front, I love to do social work, and I have been part of Rotary Club Uptown for the past 22 years. I was their editor of their bulletin and conducted a couple of events related to Rotary and programs of inviting like guest speakers and conducting various weekly programs that the Rotary has. Besides that, I'm the trustee of Tera Tera Langar Seva, which is involved not only in weekly distribution of langar, they were also responsible for distributing oxygen cylinders during the lockdown, during the second wave that took place, and during winters, they make sure that they distribute blankets among the needy people. Also, they supply rations to poor and needy homes where they feel that help and need is required. So I'm also the green ambassador of my area and the area president of Womenator as well, which conducts monthly programs for women online. So I'm into plantations, I'm into conducting programs for women, as well as I am a brown belter in karate. So I do teach self-defense to girls in MCD schools as well as slum areas. So this is about me. So welcome to the evening, all of you. And today, since we are going to talk about peace, I just wanted to share two lines said by Sadhguru. Peace is not the highest goal in life. It is the most fundamental requirement. And I'm sure all of you will agree to this. Now, I would like to shoot my first question to all the ambassadors that are present out here, and I would like to know your valuable views on it. How can peace be defined? First of all, I would like to put forth the question to Dr. Richard Shukla, and then the question, can go forward to all our ambassadors one by one. So over to you, Dr. Richard Shukla. The question is, how can peace be defined?
Thank you, Rima. In fact, what I feel, peace is a state of mind, basically. Peace could not be required by any effort. Either you are peaceful or you are not. And its meaning changes as the life grows. When you are a child,
I think there's some glitch at Dr. Richa Shukla's end, because I somehow, words are going missing in between the sentences. So, Dr. Richa Shukla, can we hear you again?
okay, sure. Am I audible now?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah, what I was saying, Rima, that peace is a state of mind. Either you are peaceful or you are not. You cannot acquire it. It cannot be acquired. And it changes its meaning as the life grows. For example, when you are a child, what is the ultimate peace for you? Your stomach is full and you are in the lap of your mother. You are in a state of zen. You don't need anything else. But as the life grows, the maya or the illusion takes over, and you start running after your desires. So when you start doing that, your peace vanishes, because you are running away from your basic needs. And whenever you are away from your roots or basic needs, peace is going to be away, 1,000 miles away from you. So if we really want to be peaceful, or if you want to ask me the definition, I would say, just try not to run after your desires. If you do so, you will never be peaceful. So for me, peace is a state of mind. Either you are peaceful or you are not.
Thank you, Dr. Richa Shukla. Over to you, Shweta Singh. Can we have the answer to this question from you as well?
Thank you, Rima. And I completely agree with Dr. Richa, what she said. When we talk about peace, it is such a broad concept that it can mean many different things just to a single individual. Peace of mind, peace after a war or skirmish, being a pacifist in the face of aggression and hostility, or is peace the ultimate victory that we all subconsciously hope to achieve in every activity we undertake in life? Therefore, I believe the achievement of peace is something that cannot be defined just here today. However, what we are able to do is explore prominent individuals' view on this and see how we can relate to what they say. For example, according to Albert Einstein's view, peace is not only an absence of war, but it means or includes the presence of justice, law, order, or government in the society. His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, said, peace, in the sense of the absence of war, is of little value. Peace can only last where human rights are respected, where people are fed, and where individuals and nations are free. When we come with this word peace, It was first introduced into academic literature by the Norwegian pioneer of peace research Johan Galtung, who distinguished two types of peace: negative peace, defined by the absence of war and violence, and positive peace, defined by a more lasting peace that is built on sustainable investments in economic development and institutions, as well as societal attitudes that foster peace. Peace is also abundant in our diverse cultures across the globe, such as in the Jewish faith, where shalom in Hebrew means the rights of relationship or unity and prosperity, a sense of wholeness arising out of justice. In the Hindu faith, we speak of Shanti, which means to maintain a peaceful mindset, whether one is suffering or in some form of conflict. So, how do I define peace? I would say that I'm a firm believer that peace is what puts an individual at ease. And that's what my definition of peace is all about. Thank you.
Thank you for your valuable insight. Now over to you, Rashmi Saha. I put forth the same question to you. We would love to hear what you have to say on it.
Definitely. Thank you, Rima. And I totally, I totally agree with what Dr. Richard Shukla and Shweta just said. It's just a perspective how we define, how we have experienced peace within us or around us. That's how we define peace. But in the similar lines, if I go and define what peace for me is and how I have experienced and learned about peace is acceptance. You know, be it it's within us or be it in the society. Till the time we are fighting about something, till the time we are arguing about something, till the time we are questioning something, there always be stress in our minds. We'll always be about, क्यों है, क्या है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए, ये ऐसा होता, वैसा होता. We'll be always questioning. The moment we accept something, the moment we make peace with it, this is what the phrase we use, making peace with something. That's acceptance. So for me, acceptance is the key to peace, and it is peace. Personally speaking, I believe I am at peace most of the times because I usually don't fight, especially when things are natural. And बहुत ज़्यादा help करता है. If something is happening in life, yes, of course, as humans, we tend to question it, we tend to disagree with it, we like काश ऐसा होता, we are wishful about things. But what ultimately do we want? If we think we have given our best to certain thing or certain situation, उसके बाद भी अगर नहीं हो रहा है, just try practicing acceptance and you'll see how magically things change for you and you are at peace. So that's what peace is for me, within yourself and around yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful hearing your heart out. And over to you, Vanessa D Cruz, with the same question. I would repeat the question. How can peace be defined? So over to you, Vanessa.
Hi, thank you for asking me this question. Well, I see peace as a two-way connection between the mind and society. As a advocate in motivating the LGBT community to have a peaceful mind and developing positivity, I've always encouraged them to be with peace with themselves. That means to find methods to find inner peace, even though they are suffering in life. So Shanti is one method I always encourage people to try to practice. However, there is only one side of the story. One can find peace, but if society does not give us the peace that we want, then there's a major conflict. Society must create laws where people can live in harmony, in creating a world where it is a peaceful place and livable place to live in. If this is not created at all, where discrimination is still appearing for the LGBT community and for other people as well, then there's no connection between the peace of mind and the peace of society. So I define peace as an interconnection between the peace of one's mind and the peace of society. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa, for your valuable suggestions. Over to you, Dr. Aruna.
Lovely, definition of peace. What I got to hear, but yes, when we talk about peace, it is in within us. It is how we define ourselves within our internal peace and external peace. Because when we talk about internal peace, one is that we need to definitely adapt, like ourselves, go ahead and change ourselves according to the situations. That is where we get our internal peace. But then that materialistic or the external, it could be your salary, it could be your house, it could be your car, whatever it is, but you are never happy. But then how does that matter? You need to know which is important for you. Is it your inner peace or is it your external peace? And never compare yourself. Try to be happy within yourself. But how many of us, being an educationist, every motivational talk that I give to teachers and everyone, they are so disturbed actually. We have so much of work at home, so much of work at school. We can't do justice. We can't do balance work and life. But then that is where they are losing out their own inner peace because they are not able to sort it out. So once you sort yourself, you think for yourself, your me time, and think for yourself, what is my priority? What is that I really wanted that can give me peace? And as I can't get her name, Rashmi, is it? Okay. Okay, she said that, I'm sorry, I'm bad at names. She said that, yeah, she said that, when we talk about a peace, and then when we think about it, we don't know how we want to reach out there as per the discussion. But then it is the same with, we need to educate them, we need to tell them what exactly it means. And we are educated, we talk so in depth, or each one of us talk in depth, but there are so many people who are not aware as to what and where they are heading to, what they have to do in life. So that is where, as an education comes into picture, and we try to see that we motivate them, we give them a lesson. So as a saying goes, with our beautiful people who have designed many quotes, and it's that peace cannot be searched. Peace is in within you. It is where you can find peace, not anywhere. You cannot search it out. So that's what I have to say about the peace that I take it into picture.
Thank you so much. So beautifully put. And Mother Teresa also explained peace in a very simple manner, that peace begins with a smile. So with this, I go over to the next question. The next question is there any association between mental peace and conflict-free world? My next question is there any association between mental peace and conflict-free world? So over to you, Dr. Richard Shukla. We would love to hear your views on this question.
As I said earlier, so I am going to repeat it. If you are peaceful within yourself, outer world cannot disturb you. This is what is my, strong belief. So whatever you face outside is disturbing you only when you are not peaceful within. Peace, if somebody is trying to poke me or putting me in some difficult situations, but if I have elevated my soul and I have make a peace within myself, take my words, you cannot distract me from that. Maybe I get disturbed for few seconds or so, but agar if I have groomed myself like that I have acquired peace within, then I am not going to fight with the world. And fighting world or confrontations outer confrontations at least are not going to disturb my peace. And what Rashmi has said, I agree to that. That acceptance, acceptance is the best weapon against outer conflicts or confrontations. They are always going to be there. You cannot be an escapist. You cannot run from the world. But you know what is important is that from childhood only, you have to teach your children that don't enter into this cutthroat competition. Be happy what you achieve. Be happy with your limits, with your strengths, with your weaknesses. So peace is not, it is not something you can acquire when you are a youth or full-fledgedly grown-up person. No, you cannot do that. It's an ongoing process, which should start from the day you start learning things, or rather, I would say, when you don't know anything. And we as a parent or as brand ambassadors, we can teach or communicate to the society that please don't push your children into this cutthroat competitive world. It is ruining the world. उसके नंबर उससे ज्यादा क्यों आए, तुम्हारे क्यों नहीं आए? उसको स्कॉलरशिप मिला, तुमको क्यों नहीं मिला? Just imagine if you are asking such questions to tender mind. What he's thinking, what is going inside him, that nothing works, only success works in this world. And if I am not successful, I cannot be happy. Like if a child has not done well in a test or exam, and he comes back and he goes for playing, and when he comes back, you ask, what is the result? And if he says, अच्छे number nahi aaye, what is your next reaction? And still you were out for the cricket game. You are not ashamed of yourself. Just see. And then when he grows up, you talk about peace, acceptance. It is not going to work, and it is not going to help the society. So outer confrontations, basically you put in the minds of your children, in yourself, you are always in a competitive mindset. And as I said, when you run after your desires, competitions, and you don't feel, that you don't feel worth being happy or peaceful. Imagine. So how can we teach or guide our new generation that you can avoid outer confrontations and be peaceful within yourself? So in this question, my I would say direct message is towards the society, that please don't enter into this competitive cutthroat world. It is ruining you. It is ruining your strengths, basically. And you have become so weak that you don't feel that this is my basic right to be happy and peaceful, and you are running after it. So this makes no sense. So be a passionate person. Try to be successful also. Fight with outer confrontations also, but not let the inner peace be disturbed. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing such a beautiful insight, Dr. Richard Shukla. Now over to you, Shweta Singh.
Okay, Dr. Richa, I'm just out of words. You explained this whole concept so clearly and so, powerfully. So I'm really impressed. I'd just like to add a few more things, that We all are fighting battles day in and day out, both externally and inside. We fight battles with our own physical and mental health. We fight battles as part of our work. We fight for each other to protect and help one another. And what we are doing this is at the expense of our own peace. So we have to question ourselves when we come to this kind of, arguments and kind of debate, that are we as individuals born just to accept peace? Will a permanent and lasting peace in any scenario lead to a reduction or long term development of the human race and our society? Can there be these types of technological improvements without the presence of conflict? Does being at peace makes us lazy? And has the world developed us into such types of entities that the mere presence of conflict and challenge is what effectively is our only way to peace? So these are the questions we need to ask ourselves. And I believe it is the responsibility of every upstanding citizen of this world to contribute to the long term security of this planet in all forms. As Dr. Richa mentioned, we have come to a very competitive environment, a cutthroat competition. We question ourselves, and that's the reason why we are never able to get peace in ourselves. So what is very important is we all have, this kind of discussion, what we are doing today. This has to be done practically in our life, in our basic life as well. And the peace starts from within ourselves. Once we start doing it, we should set an example and lead with an example. This is how I would define whatever discussion we are doing today on this particular question asked by Reba. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta, for giving us those questions which are worth pondering over. And I'm sure our audience would also like give a deep thought and think about what they need to do about the peace around. Over to you, Rashmi Saha. We would love to hear your valuable words.
Sure. So we have two things here to compare, peace versus conflict-free world. And because I have endorsed acceptance, I would want to, bring the focus to acceptance part again, because conflict, we need to understand, conflict happens when two people, two groups, or two different ideologies, they disagree with each other. Okay, any two things which are not compatible to each other. And again, we need to accept the individuality of every individual. So if we think of a conflict free world, for me practically it is impossible, because there would be differences, and till the time we have differences, there are chances of conflicts also, right? We cannot live in idle world where everyone is accepting everything, everyone is okay with everything, everyone is liking the same thing. We all can't like the same food, same color, same culture, same lifestyle. We cannot, right? And this is where conflict comes into picture. Now what we next need to understand is whether the conflict is destructive or whether it's constructive. If the conflict is constructive, if it is helping us grow as a country, as a society, as individual also, then I would say that conflict is still okay. It's workable if it is helping us grow. But if it is destructive, if it is bringing wars and riots and internal issues, then I think that is where we need to understand whether this conflict has to be taken care of or accepted, right? But then, so again, yes, peace is not equal to absence of conflict. Conflict will always be there, but how we are accepting that and then understanding that conflict, that is something which we need to take care of. And I would like to add one point to what Dr. Richa was saying, and I'm just thinking, how we have grown up as a society. The example she gave was of examinations, right? The generation that she comes from and I come from, the major issue was कि एग्जाम में नंबर कितना आया है, वो हमारा चैलेंज होता था. आई एम श्योर व्हाट आई एम गोना मेंशन हियर, यू ऑल विल रिलेट टू दिस. आई थिंक आज के टाइम पे कंपटीशन ये है कि तुम्हारे कितने फॉलोअर्स हैं, तुम्हारे वीडियोस को कितने लाइक मिले. And I'm talking about kids, small kids, and that is a matter of concern. But again, that's a topic for some other discussion, some other time. But so yeah, this is what it is. And हम कहते हैं कि अभी किसी ने कहा था, I understand that affirmation is very important and we all should work around it, that I choose peace versus rat race or the race. But is it possible? We are surrounded by competition. I think we have seen it all. We have dealt through it. We have had our share of success and failures, mostly failures, We have got our bruises, we have healed, and that is why probably at this age we can say. बट प्रैक्टिकली एक छोटे बच्चे को सिखाना कितना मुश्किल होगा कि बेटा आपको ना कॉन्फ्लिक्ट कंपटीशन में नहीं जाना है। वो बोले कि मम्मा मेरे पेरेंट्स को मेरे फ्रेंड्स को इतने लाइक मिल रहे हैं, वो टिकटॉक पे है, उसके पास ये मोबाइल है, उसके पास ये गैजेट है, उसके पास ये है। Now, this is something we as educators, because most of us here are educators, a few of us are in our own different ways. This is, I think, all of us, whoever is listening to this conversation, we as educators, as counselors and healers and supporters and as friends, I think this is where we should work on that. Okay, fine, no matter what the competition is, it is your individual choice. Let's not force our choices onto someone else's life, और हर इंसान एक चीज में excel नहीं कर सकता. Let's not compare fishes with birds. So this is my take on the entire thing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for explaining the concept of conflict and competition so well, Rashmi. Over to you, Vanessa, now.
I'm very amazed by all the points that have been given by the speakers, and they said mostly very inspiring talks about how to live in peace and to accept a conflict-free world. But the question to me is, can there ever be a conflict-free world? Must there be conflict in this world for us to understand what peace is all about? Now, coming from the LGBT community, we are actually really very discriminated in society. That means we face many conflicts in our lives. So to us, there's no such thing as a conflict-free world, but we also welcome the conflict, because as we face the conflicts, we learn who we are. We build our inner strength, we build our inner peace. Without it, we will never learn how to live with society. So when I motivate the LGBT community, I always tell them not to avoid the conflicts that they face, but to go head on with it. Because as they go head on with the conflicts, they gain experience how to avoid the conflicts itself and how to build themselves up. And also, they themselves must help themselves to create a certain strength and confidence so that they can face these conflicts in life. There are constructive conflicts and there are conflicts that can cause a lot of harm. So those that cause a lot of harm, yes, I agree, they need to be eradicated, especially conflicts where it leads to where it leads to the LGBT community being harmed, being murdered. Yes, that part needs to be corrected. But the part where we get discriminated, we need to educate the society to know who we are. So we welcome that there is conflict, so that we are given a chance to show the community who we are, to tell the community what we can be, show the community that we are here to live with you peacefully. And at the same time, that is how peace is created between the LGBT community and society itself. So it is actually a learning process. We actually don't want a conflict-free world, because if there is a conflict-free world, it's actually very boring for us, because we do not know how to educate the world of who we are, and our life will be a bit boring because we not be able to build ourselves up. We will think that, okay, everything is okay. There's no conflict at all, so we just can be ourselves. So of course, that's not the way. So we are actually very happy in a way that there is conflict. Of course, it is not a very easy thing for us to confront these conflicts. That is why me as a motivational speaker, I always emphasize that we must come as a community to learn how to be strong, how to create a positive mind, to be who we want to be in life. As a community itself, we can be strong, but as an individual, we cannot be strong because we can create voices to fight against the conflict that we face, and also we can create acceptance. Now, when I look at acceptance, it's about accepting oneself. It is not how society accepts us. We want society to know that we accept who we are, not the way that society accepts us. So, because if we allow society to dictate what we want to be, then there is still this conflict between us and society. So, when we look at acceptance, we tell the society that, hey, we are what we are, we accept who we are, we dictate who we are. So we just want to tell society that we are going to live this way, we accept ourselves as who we are. So just see us as how we want to live our life. So this is how we mitigate between ourselves and the conflict that we face, so that the conflicts that we face are actually can become very constructive instead of being destructive itself. That's what I'm gonna say.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for sharing such valuable information. Over to you, Dr. Aruna Vatkar. We would love to hear from you.
Great. Thank you so much, Rima. And yes, the word competition, as we all were discussing as educationists in one way or the other, we all are educationists. But yes, competition is not with others, but with ourselves. What do I want? What is my aim in life? What is that I want to achieve? That is where you need to compete to yourself, where you get your answers at the same time. And very well said by all the speakers here that when we talk about the self or the inner peace is a alignment of what we think, what we speak, and what we feel. Until unless we align ourselves with that, definitely we will not be getting our inner peace. Because if I want to talk to you, my mind would be thinking something else, my feelings would be something else, and my words would be something else. My words would be very sweet, but my feelings and my thoughts are different. Are you really in peace? You are not. But when you have your alignment in yourself, you will definitely have that inner peace. I just want to share an example when I was a director principal in Pulwama. As we all know, it's a conflict zone. It was a conflict zone, and Kashmir. So when we were there, like I was there as a principal, it is completely as a conflict zone where the education is not reaching the students the way it should reach. And I was so sad that I am not able to do anything there. In spite of being there for a year, I was very sad that the children, the future generation, are suffering a lot. And end of the day, because the conflict is so on a higher end that even if you tell something, they are not ready to listen, because each one of us or around us, we lack listening. We hear, but we lack listening, because only when we listen to what the other person is saying, we will understand it and we will imbibe in ourselves, to inculcate in ourselves to do that. Otherwise, no. So these are the situations, not only that particular state is, but it is all over the world which is happening right now. Because each one we are ready to give our own opinion, each one we are ready to give our own suggestion before we understand what the other person is saying, right? So when we, even for the students, when we talk about them, even teachers, as teachers, I am a teacher, I will immediately come to a judgment that, oh, you have not done such a thing, what are your parents doing? Immediately that is the immediate statement that we give, or whether your marks are there, whether you have done your homework, whether whatever it is, but do we know the background psychological aspect of the child? We don't know, because we are judgmental at every step. And that is why we are fighting ourselves. We are not at peace because we are judging others. Where is your peace? We don't have peace. But if you are calm and composed and you listen to what the child has to say, or you are observant to what the child is facing, then definitely you will try to bring the peace in the child's life, in the parent's life, and yourself as well. So, until unless we walk the talk, we talk about peace, we talk about our youths, everything, until unless we walk the talk, definitely we are not reaching anywhere. So peace is something that, we have to, sometimes we say that it is inner peace, we have to get it, but not everybody is in peace. Even now, when we are saying to my own conscious, there is something that is bothering me also at the back of my mind, right? There is something bothering. We are not in peace. There is something, oh, I have to attend this, I have to do that, I am not 100% here, right? We are not. So that is where you are not completely 100% what you are doing, what you are talking, or whatever you are doing. But no, we don't do that. But we have to change. We have to adapt to what we are in the situation. And for that, education is important, your planning is important, your organizing yourself is important, and adapting to the situation is very, very important. Otherwise, each one of us, trust me, we are never going to get that inner peace within us. So that is what, first, walk the talk. That is what more I believe in, and I do that. Thank you so much. That's what I'd share.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aruna Watkar, for bringing forth the importance of listening and for telling us how detrimental being judgmental is. So I'll go on to the next question. Before that, I would like to share something that Albert Einstein had said. Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding. So I go over to the next question. What's your take on the impact of Taliban takeover in Afghanistan? And do you think that Taliban, Afghanistan, and China aligning together, how that would affect India? We want to know your thoughts on it. So over to you, Dr. Richa Shukla.
Rima, generally I refrain myself from political questions. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Because I thought that we are going to discuss peace in a holistic manner, and I would definitely like to refrain myself from political questions. So I can only answer on this, that, when, like, how Taliban took place. If we have to understand Taliban, then we have to understand what situations made Taliban happen. Maybe those people were suffering. Maybe they were fanatics. Maybe they were just, few people who are not sure about themselves. They are full of insecurities. So they are just trying to show that now they are having power and they can control the world. But what I feel, that, it is a bunch of people who are like highly insecure within themselves. Only an insecure person acts in the manner in which Talibans are acting. When you try to suppress somebody's identity, what do you understand? Are they the persons like worth talking about? In my opinion, no. I think it's derogatory for me to comment over Taliban. Thank you so much.
Really respect your thoughts, Dr. Richa Shukla. Thank you so much. Over to you, Shweta Singh.
Uh, Rima, if we discuss about this, these political issues going on around the world, especially when we talk about Taliban, and not only Taliban, there are different countries when you come across, what happens, the end result of the war is always, you know, the whole country is in a situation where you can't even look in the news or read the news. The situation going on over there. We have seen people trying to fled from their own homeland, the home country, taking immigration to different countries. This is completely like heartbreaking. And when we start talking about this is a very vast topic to talk about. Everybody has got their own opinion. Some people they feel that they support Taliban. Some people they support Afghanistan. So it's a different derogatory when we talk about this whole scenario. So when I talk about war, it's something like I think about the global war, about the World War I, World War II happened, different wars between India, Pakistan, different nations all around. So just to conclude this, I just wish to quote the great Allied Supreme Commander Douglas MacArthur at the end of World War II while he stood in Tokyo, and he said that today the guns are silent. A great tragedy has ended. We have known the bitterness of defeat and the exultation of triumph. And from both we have learned there can be no turning back. We must go forward to preserve in peace and what we have won in war. A new era is upon us. And that's what I want to conclude by saying this. War is never a solution. It just creates disasters. And that's the reason why we are having this discussion today. We all the speakers have come together to talk about something why peace is so important. Not only for an individual, but as a nation, as a whole country, and for our youth generations. When they look into, when they watch news and when they watch television, when they hear to any kinds of news, it shouldn't be about war. It should be about the peace and prosperity. This is how our country will flourish. Not only our country, but the whole world will flourish together. And happiness is the solution for all of this. War is never a solution. It's just a conflict which creates so much of massacre, so much of bloodsheds. And I don't think so. It's very easy for someone to talk about. And this is what I would like to conclude with. So over to you, Rima. Thank you.
Very well put, Shweta Singh. Thank you so much. Over to you, Rashmi Saha.
Thank you, Rima. And I believe, when it's about politics, I actually would say something similar to what Dr. Richard said. I usually don't understand. I believe I'm a very small part to understand the entire political, setup, their decisions and everything. So I would not say anything regarding what's happening and anything about that. But one thing that I would definitely want to share, that if my word reaches out to anyone, the people who are watching it or anyone who would ever watch it, one thing I definitely would want to bring everyone's focus on is, with the advancement of technology, specifically social media, before the beginning of the session, we were discussing how social media has brought us all of us together. We don't need to go out. हम लोग यहाँ पर ही सबसे मिल लेते हैं. अगर हम पॉजिटिव्स देखने के लिए जाएंगे, आई नीड टू से दिस इन हिंदी बिकॉज आई वांट दिस टू रीच आउट टू एज मेनी पीपल एज इट कैन, तो अगर हम पॉजिटिव्स देखने के लिए जाएंगे तो बहुत सारे पॉजिटिव चीजें हैं जो सोशल मीडिया ने हमारे लिए लाया है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ एक नेगेटिव चीज भी लाई है जो हम सब ने नोटिस किया होगा. एनोनिमिटी के साथ जब हम केओस क्रिएट करते हैं, ये चीज है जो मैं शायद अभी तक उस चीज के साथ मैं इसको नहीं समझ पाई हूँ. And I've been working on it because, again, as I say, as an educator, I work with youth. I keep them telling about this. Don't be a part of that crowd. जो नाम बदल के अलग DP लगा करके, they start creating chaos. Now, when we talk about situations like what happened in Taliban, वहाँ जो हुआ वो हुआ, उसके बारे में हम कुछ नहीं कह सकते. But what we actually can focus on is, as on social media, people they want reasons to talk about things which are not existing, and they can create chaos. Religion, gender, empowerment, women empowerment over gender empowerment, so many things. You just pick it, and people are there. You will not even realize that people exist in your Facebook profile or your social media profile. You post one pinching profile or one profile, one post around female empowerment or female issues or religion, and you will see comments coming up, and you'll be like, ये लोग कहाँ थे अभी तक, ये मेरे सक्सेस पे तो कभी इन्होंने कंग्रेचुलेट नहीं किया, इन्होंने मुझे अच्छी चीजों के लिए तो कभी बोला नहीं, ठीक है, कभी मेरे प्रॉब्लम में कभी सॉल्व नहीं किया. But now when they get the reasons to talk about, vent out, I understand their part also. They also, everyone needs a voice to speak. But what I'm trying to say is, when our voice is making an impact, a positive impact, I think that will give our voices a better direction. That's what I expect, and I would want everyone to focus on कि इन मुद्दों को कॉम्प्लिकेट करके आपस में ना लड़ लें इसके पहले कि कुछ और हो जाए. We should at least try to be more solution oriented, and we should try to find the solution, god forbid, if anything, around this. So I think this is killing ourselves even before someone has shot us. I'm just metaphorically speaking. This is self harm, for not only for us, for society also. So we should learn from such things, and we should try to build in a stronger community where we support each other more, love each other more, and understand each other more, rather than creating small battles amongst us, rather than before the real war begins. So that's my take on this.
Wonderfully put forth concepts and facts, Rashmi. Over to you, Vanessa.
Hi. Regarding about the Taliban issue, I'm not going into the political aspects of it because I don't really dwell in political issues. But a lot of us thought about how we should view what the Taliban is all about, because we have heard a lot of stories about them, about how they have discriminated women, how they have harmed children. So we have a very negative view of the Taliban. We know about their religious ideology aspects on how they view society. And the only thing we know about them is the negative aspect. We do not know the positive aspect of them, because in everything in life, there's always the negative, there is the positive. So, of course, everybody has a great fear of the Taliban regime because of what they did. But have you ever asked a question why they want back their land? To them, it's because it belongs to them. Now, if you actually go back in some years during the Russian war with Afghanistan, the US actually helped Afghanistan to win the war. So that is where Osama bin Laden was born. So of course, as history goes, US taught Osama bin Laden how to fight. It gave them the technology of how to survive in the world. But very unfortunately, when the war is over, when the war was over, the American government did not fulfill one of their promises, that is to bring up Afghanistan again, to re-educate Afghanistan. It actually left the trouble sites to fight with one another, and women and children suffered, because that is what they think should be done to the women and children, and all of us in the world did not like to see that happening. However, it is very sad to see such things happening, but we need to respect the way they do their things. It is their religious ideology. So if we have interference from the outside world, it actually will not help much. Yes, we can have voices to denounce the discrimination of women and children. We can go on the social media to post our disagreement. But how far would that help Afghanistan? Because now Taliban is ruling it, and they have somehow said that they will try to be more positive and try to help the women there. But whether a leopard can change its spots is a different story altogether. So at the moment, there's nothing much we can do because they've already taken over the world. America itself is already putting out they actually don't want to do anything with the Taliban. So to me, I hope that the Taliban would come to a point where they will treat women and children properly. But of course, if they don't, then we have the responsibility to voice out what they are doing. Try to fight against what they're doing through our voices. But how much we can do that also is very debatable because we are not in the Taliban country itself. It is their own world. Our world and their world is very separate. So my thing is hope for the best and let's see what happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa, for bringing forth a different viewpoint. Over to you, Dr. Aruna Watkar.
Thank you so much, Rima. Yes. It's again, I'll go by Richa as to what she said, refrain myself with the political aspect, but then why that political aspects are coming up. And it is not that we can ignore, it is important, not that we can ignore. Why is it happening? Why is the world is on one leg stand, like, ready for war? Why? Why is that the trust factor is not there among themselves? Why there is a fight, why they are not hesitating to do anything that is very rash to be on a human, one human to the other. But until unless our youth or our students understand the depth in as we study history. So we have more in our history also. We have more of all over the world what is happening and how it is happening. So it's high time that a history has to be written and the children should be learning in depth in order to why this is happening. Not just as it was mentioned that we have to on Facebook how many likes and how many, you just put one thought and many will come together and we don't know who they are. But then when we put that any aspect there without thinking, we comment, and then there is a conflict starts within the conversation itself. Oh no, that is not how it goes. Oh, this is how it goes. But nobody is talking with the in-depth knowledge of why and how and what, and the four W's and one H. Why is it happening? How is it? Now nobody thinks. But we are ready to give a statement with what you say, which is not actually, that is what is leading to all these conflicts overall. But where are we heading? Our youth is the one which has to really understand, and we are the one whom we have to really give them that education. Don't go by the words. You need to find out what is the depth of, do the research and find out for yourself what is the truth. Just don't based on religion or just based on the country or any such thing. Don't come to a conclusion at all. That is what it says. And many places, as we say that, on a general note, what I'm trying to say is it's all about the psychological effect that has been from the childhood in their mind that is going on, what they're seeing around, and what they have not come out of that particular zone in order to understand what is life, what is the outer world is like. So that is where they are lacking. So once they understand what is happening outside, what is the way the education has risen to the core of NEP, New Education Policy 2020, whatever it is coming up, most of the places it's not known. So that is where we need to teach our youth, yes, this is the right one that you need to choose, or this is the wrong one that you shouldn't be choosing. And not that we need to handhold them, and they are very smart than us. They are 10 steps ahead than what we are, and they know very well what they are leading to. Because very recently, just as I was discussing with Richa, and I always forget your name, and that is Rashmi. Yes, sorry. Okay, so when they said that, I was talking to them that we had the UN SDG goals with our students, and when the students projected the presentation, believe me, people, they presented in such a manner that we learned a lot. In fact, being educators, we learned a lot. The way, the depth that research was done, how we can save climate, how poverty can be removed, how every aspect of the SDG, the 17 goals, was presented so beautifully. And in fact, some of the students are practicing in their daily life. Why are they practicing? Because they are understanding. We need not even tell them. Now they are understanding the real fact, because we need to educate them in one way nor the other, rather than the books. Because books is one aspect, giving you certificates, but the other aspect is beyond books, what the skills that you understand and learn in within life to face this challenging world outside. That is where we have to think aloud. So yes, political is different, because that rises to many, many, many different aspects. And as Richa said, insecurities. If I am insecure in my own life, I don't have my insurance, I don't have my house to stay, I don't have, what will I do? I will be insecure, and I might choose a wrong path. I might choose a wrong path. And it's a, just a imagination that, or a guess that I'm telling. I might choose because I'm insecure. I might do. That is what our youth are ending. If I'm not getting employability, what is the easy way to get money? This is where. So that is where we have to stop with our young generation. So we have to go ahead to educate them more, because as an anonymous quote, it's a small poem, what I remember saying that, to put the world in order, we must first put the nation in order. But to put the nation in order, it is very much required that we must first put the family in order. Because if you put your family in order, only then the youth, the generation will groom in such a way that it will become a beautiful place to stay. And once we do that, we must first cultivate our own personal life, which we can, first set our hearts right. As I said in the beginning, the alignment of our heart, our feelings, and our mind and our talk, which aligns. Once the children realize that, everything will be definitely going. So then I hope and I wish that we as educators, we make the future generation, our youth, lead to the peaceful and a beautiful nation for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aruna, for sharing your wise words. Mahatma Gandhi once said, is its own reward. Although we are time up, but I would like to put forth the final question to you all and get a hurried, the views about it. The question is it ever possible to live in a peaceful world? Over to you, Dr. Richa Shukla.
Thank you, Rima, and I must congratulate Dr. Aruna. The last question, I think she put it in a very, very educating manner, that, if you really want to educate or set your nation right, you have to set your family right first, because that is what I was trying to say, that if you are secured within, then only you can groom a child who is secured, who is confident, who is contented. So thank you, Dr. Aruna. It was really nice listening to you, and I was listening you. Right. Okay. So yeah, Rima, you have asked that, is it ever possible? Can we live in a peaceful world? I would say yes. We can, if we stop manifesting the stories of successful men. In comparison to that, we should try to manifest the stories of monks, and who has, renunciated the world, being powerful, and then who has renunciated the world. So we should try to manifest or bring into the light those stories. of sacrificing people. We should not glamorize successful people, because this is what creates desire. And everybody is not that intelligent or enlightened who can understand or draw the line between desire, success, and right path. Everybody is not so. Maybe I am talking because I have reached to certain level of understanding at this age, but everybody is not so enlightened, I would say, or understanding. So it is very simple for them is to understand that this is the only meaning of this birth, is to be successful, no matter how you get the success. Like, if you are not getting it by the right path, you are free to use wrong paths. You have to achieve it by hook or by crook. So until unless, and it is very important, pandemic has taught us that the nature is teaching us something, that you have to go back to your roots. You have to be satisfied within your means. That is what I was trying to say in my first answer of question, that when you start running after maya or desires, then this conflict surrounds you always. You create complexities for your life, and then you say life is very complex. So yes, we can live if we try to make our children understand the meaning of sacrifice also. Achieving is good, but sacrifice is greater. So if we do so, I think we will see a sparkling world with peace, happiness, and I would say, and always teach your child to sacrifice some or the other thing for someone else. It's not always to keep everything to your kitty and you are not ready to share. So, and this journey is definitely going to start, should start from the beginning of the life. Once they have taken shape, their mindset is ready to enter into this competitive world, you cannot do anything. So just from the, just initial days of childhood, try to teach them sacrifice, and don't teach them to run after, always run after success. Success is important. I'm saying it's great. It's good, but not great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richa, for bringing forth the importance of sacrifice, which our younger generation really needs to understand and learn. Thank you. Over to you, Shweta Singh.
Thanks, Rima. So now this brings me to the crux of our discussion today. For the avoidance of any doubt, a secure world is a planet whose environment is protected as a prime concern. In order to do this, it is our youth that will be charged with leading the global fight for sustainability, protecting our climate, and working for a more equitable society, as Vanessa was discussing before. See, the destruction and invasion of natural ecosystems has brought humanity into contact with viruses and disease, which has brought the human race to its knees, which was mentioned by Dr. Richa shortly. And this has led to further confrontation across the world, particularly in the Indo Pacific, where countries fight covertly and overtly to secure natural resources for their people. We are in the midst of one of the biggest global shortages in natural commodities and finished goods, which will surely bring countries, even allies, face to face in confrontation. Educating our youth about the origins of war and conquest for resources, which eventually sparked World War II, and then the eventual construction of the United Nations and the IMF to prevent for economic reasons, is extremely prevalent today. Employment and viable opportunities for developing nations which have a large youth population is the need of the hour. I strongly believe that dealing with these aforementioned issues is the basis for a lasting peace and security for our future generations. We talk about education, we talk about lot of things, but as I mentioned before, practice what you preach. Education and everything starts from your home itself. आज हम जो अपने बच्चों को सिखाते हैं, अपने जनरेशन को सिखाते हैं, वही चीज़ वो आगे बढ़ती है। तो इसी तरह से हमें ये सोचना है कि अगर इस दुनिया को हमें एक सिक्योर वर्ल्ड बनाना है, इसके लिए हर किसी को आगे बढ़ के इस लक्ष्य को रखना है दिमाग में कि शांति बहुत ही ज़रूरी है हमारे दुनिया के लिए। एंड दिस इज़ हाउ वी हैव टू वर्क टुगेदर, वी हैव टू जॉइन हैंड्स टुगेदर, नॉट ओनली अबाउट टॉकिंग एंड डिस्कसिंग ऑफ द टॉपिक, वी हैव टू डू इट प्रैक्टिकली इन आवर लाइफ एज वेल. And as all the eminent speakers have spoken so bravely, and so much information has been discussed today, and I'm sure all the spectators and the viewers watching us today must have got a lot of information regarding this. And this is just a small step forward for this eminent topic for today. And I think if we do this in our personal life, like as I mentioned, like employment is important, and how we started Navami to cure that, that job opportunities for different people in a village areas. So, step by step, as Rashmi is working on a wider range of, she was talking about menstruation, so a lot of charity works are happening. People are coming with their social work, social issues, and, there are in the world. We know about those issues. If we work together, we'll have a secure world. And security starts from beneath yourself. When you talk about gender equality, it's not about men and women. We all have to take the initiative together. We shouldn't be living in the same old world. जब हम बोलते थे कि पहले ज़माने में ऐसा होता था, we are so used to that system. ये नहीं करना, इस तरह से काम नहीं करना, ऐसे ही होता है, इस तरह से ही चलता है, इस इंडिया में ऐसे ही होता है या बाहर ऐसे ही होता है. We have to change that mindset. We have to come together now. We have to start thinking ahead of how the world is changing. And when you start developing yourself with the changing world, things will change. And that has to start from a very positive mindset. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta Singh, for putting forth your views so well. And in fact, the entire discussion has been put so concisely and well, by you. So thank you so much. And now over to Rashmi Saha. Please, would love to hear your views as well.
Definitely, Rima. I will answer your question, but before that, I'm just gonna grab this moment when I'm allowed to speak my part. And there are few things that I just point wise want to mention. As Dr. Aruna said, we need to teach our youth the concept of learning, struggle, and that's what even Dr. Richa said. The few things that I think, I would want to add to this. When we talk about stories, yes, stories are circulating, stories of success and everything. Very, very rightly said, Dr. Richa, we need to focus and highlight the stories of struggle and then how it reached to the success. Because success should be understood as a different parameter for all of us, We all can be successful in our own ways and we still cannot be successful in our own ways. So we need to redefine what success actually means for an individual. We need to teach people, they are young people or they are old people, whatever their age is, the definition of success has to be made clear. Not everyone who's a social media star is successful. Not everyone who is rich is successful. Not everyone who has property is successful. Success has different parameters and we have to accept it. We have to understand and accept it, first thing. Second of all, there's one thing that, again, I think we all have noticed, when we glorify stories of not pain but sadness. There are a lot of places where you see when you are a victim you become a hero, when you are lacking in something you become a hero. I think that is, again, in a way it is encouraging people not to work hard enough, not to go for the struggle. They are like कि नहीं, मैं जितना कमजोर होऊंगा या होंगी मेरे को उतना अटेंशन मिलेगा और मैं उतना फेमस हो जाऊंगी या हो जाऊंगा. This trend has to change. We all have done our own struggles. We all have gone through our own struggles, but not everyone chooses to bring their struggle in front and become a hero. A lot of people choose to struggle and then become successful in their own ways, and then we should, try to encourage that. Third, the concept of evolution has to be taught, and not only to youth, because youth obviously उनके ऊपर बहुत कार्यभार ऑलरेडी है, बहुत उनके ऊपर प्रेशर है. आई थिंक द पेरेंट्स ऑल्सो नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, जो हो गया सो हो गया, हमने जो सीखा सो सीखा, वट एवर वी हैव लर्न, we can still change it. We can still unlearn a certain thing. We can learn a few things. So I think if at all we all, as Shweta so beautifully put this across, if we go hand in hand together, different genders, different ages, different, cultural difference, people with cultural differences, professions, if we all go ahead together in this mission, I believe attaining peace individually and socially would be easier, would be easier. And Rima, going back to your question, I think I'll wind up here. Is it possible? What was the question again? Is it possible to attain peace? Okay, is it possible to live in a peaceful world? If if I think about that answer, I believe we need to figure out what our world is. For me, for Rashmi Saha, my world is within me. It starts from me. So if I am at peace, everything around me is peaceful because I know the code. I know the codes to how fix everything. So we need to understand my world. If my world is my family, and if I need to create peace, I can create peace there also, and I'll be peaceful. So we need to decide what our world is and how we create peace. And yes, we can live in a peaceful world, definitely.
Thank you, Rashmi, for so beautifully putting it. And over to you, Vanessa.
Hi. So, to address your question, to have a peaceful world, we must know how to create one. And how are we going to create a peaceful world? Parents, you need to listen to this. Those who are going to have children, make it a mission that you teach your children how to love the world. Do not teach your children how to obtain successes. Okay, now I'm not trying to say that one should not be successful. It should be a secondary aspect. The primary aspect should be that one should bring up their children to learn how to love the world. Because the youth will be our future leaders. They are the ones that going to create the peace in society if they know how to create that peace. If they do not know how to create that peace, then how are they going to create peace in this world at all? If you are so focused on your success, then you only build a competitive child. You don't build a loving child. And where you only build a competitive child, and when they grow up to adults, they become competitive, and they will only think of themselves. That is where conflict happens. When it also can lead to wars, because if they become leaders in one country, they may become too greedy, and they may want to consume a lot of other people's resources, and that is where wars may happen. So let's not go that far at this moment. Let's come back to the youths. Teach your children how to love society. Teach them how to accept all genders in society, all people that come in different sexual orientation. Teach them what gender equality is. Teach them how to love their wives. Teach them how to love their husbands, so that we all can live in peace. The LGBT community depends on the youth these days because, honestly, we face a job crisis. A lot of us are actually sex workers, and because of this, we are known to be sex objects, which is totally wrong because we have no choice. We don't have a job at all, so the only other option that we can have is to be a sex worker. But if the youth grow up and learn to love society, they can create jobs for us. That means all LGBT, that means the transgenders especially, they can be in jobs. They can be in various jobs. For example, they can be accountant, they can be engineers and lawyers. Because just to give you further information, in the LGBT community itself, there is an internal conflict. The transgenders are very left out. The ones that have very good jobs are the gays and the lesbians because they are actually very comfortable in their own sex. And even though they are discriminated in a certain way, they are given more liberty in living in a certain society. So youth must know about this fact so that they can create jobs for the transgender community, so that the transgender community can learn how to live in peace with the rest of the world. The youth must be educated how to create a sustainable living society, and that is where they need love and empathy. They need to create toilets that can cater for the transgenders. They cannot create separate toilets. That is where compassion comes in. So all this needs to be educated when the youths are young. Compassion, empathy. And a peaceful society, which I foresee, is when a transgender steps out of his or her door and will not get killed at all. All this comes back to the foundation of our young, because they are going to create the laws that will protect the LGBT community. So in a nutshell, if you really want to create a peaceful world, teach your children how to love and have empathy and compassion. That is the foundation. Later they can learn how to be successful in life. Because for those who have children, you will realize that they will listen to what you do. They will follow you because you are for parents, you are their first providers. You are their first inspiration in life. So show the love, show your children how to love society itself. So let us all start loving one another, go out there and just show love to the world to create a very loving society. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for giving such a valuable suggestion and tips to the parents, the young parents of today. We totally agree that the youth of today needs to learn how to be compassionate and empathetic towards the people. Thank you so much for your valuable views. Over to you, Dr. Aruna Wadkar.
Thank you so much, Richa. Wow. Amazing thoughts by each and every one, from Dr. Richa, Shweta, Dr. Rashmi, and Vanessa. Lovely thoughts. And we think about each one of us having these lovely thoughts, and we join hands and start working together to bring in the change. Just imagine, don't you think that we will be living in a peaceful nation? Yes, we can. We would definitely live in a peaceful nation. And yes, teaching our children, as we say, that was the point from the beginning till to the end point as well. Running behind success. The success definition, as Dr. Rashmi says, it varies. It has go on a different meaning of success. And as Shweta said, इट इज हमारे पूर्वज बोलते थे, हमने अपने मम्मी पापा से क्वेश्चन नहीं किया, हम आपको बोल रहे हैं कि शनिवार के दिन नाखून नहीं काटना है तो नहीं काटना है. Why? We don't know. Even I don't know. Because we did not question our parents, right? And then we are unable to give our children the answer. And now today they are telling that we don't know, we didn't get any liable answer from you. How do you think we should follow what you're saying? This is the era that children come up saying that. So where is that we are lacking? Where is that? So anytime when we have trainings, when it comes up, for children workshops, I said children don't need much training. The parents need, the teachers need, the management needs. So where are you taking your children further? That is where we need to really work out on. And very most important thing, we, for my family, everybody are doctors, everybody are engineers, everybody are lawyers, and we are all working. You need to I know I would have to cut a sorry figure in front of everybody. No. There are so many, when I talk about beyond books, there are so many skills, vocational skills, which one can excel in anything that you want to. Only thing is, You need to encourage that person, what that child wants to. Exactly. But at the same time, how are we really molding them? Are we giving them the ethical values, as Vanessa said, the compassion, the love, the thoughts, the empathy, getting into understanding others? Are we really teaching them that? Are we teaching them no, to accept no? We bribe them. You get first rank, we'll give you this. You get so many marks, you will be getting into, we'll take you to so many. So there are so many aspects that we really need to think on, ponder on. So the only mantra that we can build up a peaceful nation, I mean the whole world in peaceful, is one is understanding, contentment in what you are, and patience, listening, and the most important that we forget is the love within each of us. I get jealous because Rima is on a higher position. I am not happy, but if I'm loving you, I will accept whatever you are, right? So acceptance of what you are instead of getting jealousy. So that is where we need to teach it. Let them be where they are, but first thing, be a very good human being. If you are a good human being, that will automatically lead to a beautiful nation and surrounded by beautiful people. So I'm very sure that we can give our future generation, the Gen Z, a very good nation and groom them accordingly to spread love, faith, trust, and the contentment. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Aruna, for winding the discussion up with so much of positivity. I'm sure like all our eminent speakers today, gave such an insightful views about things and have given enough material for all our viewers to ponder on. And I will just wind up in two lines, and that is, जिंदगी के भाग दौड़ में बहुत आगे निकल आए हम. जिंदगी के भाग दौड़ में बहुत आगे निकल आए हम, कुछ कर दिखाने की चाहत में सुकून बेच आए हम. So let's think about how we can work towards a wonderful, better, beautiful, and peaceful world around us. On this note, I sign off, say goodbye. So thank you so much. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. Bye bye.